Hello, hello! Welcome to the origin story of the most dazzling theater troupe in all of Shibuya, Wonderlands Showtime. A lonely, desecrated stage stands at the corner of a bright and cheery theme park, cast in the shadows created by the shining smiles of the attendees around them. It awaits the right group of people to come together and make each performance atop that stage more wonderful than the last. But before we meet our cast, allow me to give you some background information. Wonderland Showtime is often abbreviated to WXS or Wondershow, and since the first two names are either very long or very hard to say, I will be going with Wondershow moving forward. They are the fourth unit in Project Sekai. For the uninitiated, there are 5 units of 4 members in the game. Each unit is given a 20-episode origin main story, which is what this video entails, and then each member will be given specific 8-episode story events that focus on them in rotations. You'll get the hang of it if it's your first time around here. Focus events are accompanied by commission songs created specifically for the event's story. The main stories also have commission songs, but that's a little bit of a spoiler at the moment, so stick around until the end to hear about that one. And of course, the main stories were released alongside the game on September 30th, 2020. Now, without further ado, the curtain rises on the next wonderful performance. Take your seats, everyone. The show is about to begin.
ずっと妹を笑顔にしたかった。病弱であまり学校に行けない妹の先にどうしたら笑ってもらえるか、そればっかり考えてた。でも小さかった俺はどうしたらいいかわからなかったんだ。そんな時、父さんと母さんが俺とサキをショーに連れて行ってくれて。その日は忘れられない日になった。
As Saki looks out over the sea of people and watches the performers on stage, Tsukasa knows one thing. He hasn't seen his younger sister smile like this in a long, long time. He hasn't seen his parents smile like this either. If Saki wishes for this performance to never end, if she wishes for every day to be as wonderful as this one, then... Some years later, and the day is finally upon him. Please welcome to the stage our most wonderful and dazzling world future star, Tsukasa Tenma. Today is the day that he takes the first step towards stardom, namely, an audition for a part-time acting role. Saki wishes her older brother good luck as he heads off, but that's not without Tsukasa fussing a little bit over his sister. She's only just recovered after all, but Saki is adamant about making the most of her high school years and making up for lost time. This is also our first encounter with Tsukasa's poor memory. He can't even remember the inciting incident that caused him to reach for stardom, even though we just saw that memory ourselves. Saki wishes him luck one more time as Tsukasa's phone flashes with a bright light. What could that be? And why does it feel like he's forgetting something? Tsukasa opens his phone to find no new notifications, but interestingly, there's a new song in his music app. It's called Untitled. As soon as he taps on the song, Tsukasa is whisked away in a flash of light and prisms to a world made from the stuff of dreams. Tsukasa finds himself standing before a giant stage. It's littered with all sorts of props and set pieces, giving off a nostalgic energy. What a nice dream he's having. All of a sudden, Hatsune Miku herself pops out of nowhere, calling Tsukasa by name. Kaito is also there. What a strange dream. Even stranger is the fact that Tsukasa doesn't remember falling asleep. Well, that's because this is a Sekai, a world born from Tsukasa's feelings and memories. Both Miku and Kaito try to explain that Tsukasa has lost sight of his true feelings, and that the Sekai will help him rediscover them again. But it's all going right over his head. Miku and Kaito ask Tsukasa to bring the others with him next time, and the Sekai dematerializes around him. But there's no time to dwell on that now. Tsukasa has an audition to get to. He runs off in the direction of a popular theme park known as Phoenix Wonderland and prepares himself for the first step in his path towards stardom. I've been leaving these little monologues out, but Tsukasa is a very, confident person. Some may call him self-centered, what with all of these pep talks he gives himself, raving about the adoring audience he will soon have, but he is only a high schooler, so maybe we can afford to cut him a little slack. Tsukasa continues his streak of confidence at his interview. He loudly proclaims himself as a world future star, and is overheard by a certain someone in the corner of the room. But Tsukasa is too caught up in his own introduction to notice. The rest of the interview passes, and naturally, Tsukasa is hired. Of course, as expected of a future star. As he walks over to Phoenix Wonderland for his first day, two others notice his loud and eccentric personality. One decides to head in the same direction as well. After entering the park, Tsukasa is led over to his assigned stage by an employee in a mascot costume. It's a long walk. Through overgrown shrubbery and empty, forgotten areas of the park lies the Wonder Stage. It's a little run down and definitely in need of some repairs, but Tsukasa can barely verbalize his comments before he is jump-scared by a young girl with bright pink hair. Okay, here's the moment you've all been waiting for, my Wondershow fans. Say it with me now. Wan, Wandahoy! The first of many to come, I assure you. Please welcome our second performer to the stage, Emu Otori. She's the one that invited Tsukasa here to perform on the Wonder Stage and bring it back to its original glory. So, yeah, Tsukasa didn't actually make it through the interview. He's only here because Emu asked for him specifically. And though the park has been undergoing some serious renovations, the building of the new stage/arena has been put on hold. That's why this area of the park is so deserted, even though the Wonder Stage is technically still operational. It's just that Emu is the only one performing here, and she never has any audience members. But now, with Tsukasa here, all of that is about to change. Realizing the situation, Tsukasa tries to tell Emu that he has ambitions far beyond this place and tries to leave, but Emu grabs him by his collar and begs him to stay. He made a promise, and so did she. Suddenly, the projector screen turns on and out pops Hatsune Miku herself, welcoming the two startled performers to the performance of a lifetime in a Wonderland Sekai. Miku flickers away after that. Well, anyway, Tsukasa needs to call HR and formally resign. When he opens his phone, that untitled song is there again. Emu jumps over to Tsukasa and presses play on the song before he can even blink, and yet again the two are swallowed by a flash of prisms. Miku da yo. Tsukasa is met with a Miku mascot in an area not so dissimilar from Phoenix Wonderland. He tries talking with the mascot and eventually gives up, asking the person inside to take off the costume. And the person inside is, well, Hatsune Miku, in the flesh. But hold on, Hatsune Miku isn't a real person. She's a virtual singer, yeah. So how is she here, talking with Tsukasa face to face? Tsukasa's poor memory strikes again. Miku pushes Tsukasa over to the stage area where Emu and Kaito are already waiting. Emu doesn't seem fazed by this new development at all, and is really just happy to be there and hang out with Kaito and Miku. But thankfully, Kaito gives Tsukasa the rundown of what a Sekai is again. I think he actually offers the most succinct explanation of how Sekais work in all of the main stories that I've read thus far. So we already know that playing the untitled song is what brings people from the real world into the Sekai, and we know that the Sekai was created by Tsukasa's feelings and memories. Those of you who have read the other stories may also know that when the members of a unit find their true feelings, a song is born. Kaito calls songs the crystallization of feelings. It's the Vocaloid's job to help the unit members find those true feelings and help create those songs. Again, Miku reiterates that Tsukasa has forgotten his true feelings when he tries to brute force his way out of the Sekai. That doesn't really make sense to Tsukasa since he has a very clear goal. When Miku suggests putting on a show with herself, Emu, and Kaito here in the Sekai, Kaito shows off one of the other quirks of the place. The stuffed animals that live here are sentient. Yes, a bunny plushie tied to balloons talks to Tsukasa and freaks him out so much that he falls and hits his head on the ground. Oof. When Tsukasa wakes up, he thinks for just a second that he really was in a dream before, but nope, there's Hatsune Miku and that bunny plush hovering over him. At this point, Tsukasa just wants out of the situation. He panics looking for his phone, hoping to stop the song and return to the real world, and ends up making a promise to Emu to perform at the Wonder Stage with her if she can get them out of the Sekai. Emu cheerfully finds Tsukasa's phone, and they finally return to reality. Tsukasa tries once again to back out of his promise, but the mascot that showed him the Wonder Stage earlier returns to accuse him of kidnapping Emu, and then physically threatens him into performing with Emu. Well, I guess that settles that. Leave it to a guy in a cat costume to make sure promises are fulfilled. If Tsukasa is going to do this, then he's going to go all out. It's not in his nature to leave anything undesired, after all. But they will need more members in order to have a full cast, so Operation Recruitment begins. As luck would have it, there's someone putting on a little street performance out by the main fountain of Phoenix Wonderland, a show performed entirely by little robots. This purple-haired boy easily captivates the audience. Tsukasa thinks that if this storyline is this boy's original creation, then he would make a great stage director for them. But this boy gets chased away by the park security before he can finish the show. Apparently, he comes here to stage unauthorized performances. A shame, he would have been a really great pick for Tsukasa's new troupe. At school the next day, Tsukasa asks his classmates if they've seen anyone performing shows with robots. It's kind of a last-ditch effort, but one of his classmates mentions a new kid that transferred to the class next door. He's some kind of weirdo from an elite high school. That kind of sounds like it could be our guy. Tsukasa searches the entire school for him, and lo and behold, there he is, surrounded by robots on the rooftop. Allow me to formally introduce the third member of today's performance, Rui Kamishiro. Wait one second. Though Rui and Tsukasa clearly share the same passion for theater, Rui quickly rejects Tsukasa's offers to join his troupe. Rui prefers to work alone to ensure that he has complete creative freedom over his shows. He makes all of his robots and writes all of his scripts himself. That's the only way to ensure that he can produce the desired outcome. But, well, refusing this offer would be a regrettable decision in Tsukasa's very unbiased opinion. Tsukasa claims to be able to perform any role to 12,000% satisfaction, no questions asked. He doesn't have any proof or evidence, but he does have unshakable confidence and determination. That has to be enough, right? Well, it's a convincing offer for sure. Rui agrees to join on the condition that they invite another person that he recommends. Honestly, that just works better for Tsukasa and Emu anyway, since they need all the people they can get. Rui and this person have been doing theater together since they were little, so it looks like Tsukasa struck gold with this one. At the Wonder Stage later that day, Rui and Emu immediately hit it off. They're communicating in a way that's interesting to watch, but a little hard to follow. I think Rui is just on Emu's wavelength, if you know what I mean. More importantly, where is this person that Rui recommended? Well, she's quite shy, so Rui goes to get her personally. He returns with a robot? Said robot is a bit different from the ones Rui was showing off the day before. This one is huge. It goes up to Emu's waist and is remotely controlled. And yes, Rui did make it himself. The robot has all of the functions it needs, even a way for the operator to speak directly through it from afar. So now, allow me to introduce the final member, or should I say members, of today's cast, Nene Kusanagi and her robot Nene Robo, or Robo Nene. The voice actors say Nene Robo, but the text says Robo Nene. It doesn't matter. Tsukasa is a bit put off by having a robot actor, but his opinions are pushed aside once Robo Nene demonstrates her abilities. It's going to be an interesting experience for everyone from here on out. The next few scenes are of Tsukasa and his newly founded troupe writing, rehearsing, and figuring out the kinks for their first show. They also come up with their troupe name, which is, of course, Wonderland Showtime. The Wonderland in the name comes from the Wonder Stage, but also how the stage can become different worlds based on the show they're performing. I think it's a really cute sentiment, so I wanted to include it. Some other things you should know about the members of Wondershow. Rui is basically a mad scientist. He has a bunch of crazy and outlandish ideas, but he does have the skills to back them up, so I guess devices that shoot plasma bursts onto the stage aren't outside the realm of possibility. Ironically, it seems like Tsukasa is the only sane one here, since Emu and Nene go along with whatever Rui cooks up. But eventually, Tsukasa caves to the thought of a truly outstanding show and agrees to Rui's ideas as well. If he's going to become a star, he needs to be able to perform any role to the fullest. Rui is working Tsukasa to the bone without much direction on how he can improve. Emu brings up the idea of visiting Miku and Kaito since the untitled song is on her phone now as well. Emu takes them all there before Tsukasa can even think about objecting. Once there, the usual shock passes through Rui and Nene, but Rui recovers quickly and decides that he must thoroughly dissect this entire place and find out how it works. While he's off doing that, Kaito helps Tsukasa work through his issues with the script. I'm not really sure if I need to go over all of the details concerning the show they're trying to put on. Just know that it's a classic hero's journey story where Tsukasa is playing the role of the Pegasus Prince. Miku tries to talk to real Nene, Rui takes the bunny plushie hostage, and Kaito is actually helpful and points Tsukasa in the right direction. All good things. Tsukasa is quick to get everyone to leave as soon as he gets what he came for, though. And thus, our quick little training montage truly begins. I'll skip over it to save you the trouble, but just know that their debut show is rapidly approaching. Dress rehearsal went well, so now it's time to bring smiles to the audience of the Wonder Stage. The seats are completely full the next day. Everyone has shown up in full force to support Wonderland's Showtime. The performance begins and everything goes well, right up until Nene's solo song where she sings the evil dragon to sleep. Nene Robo's battery dies in the middle of her song, leaving Tsukasa and Emu to try to salvage the storyline while Nene fumbles with the controls backstage. What's worse, as Tsukasa goes to finish out the scene, Robo Nene falls on top of him, causing Rui to intervene and end the show early. The real Nene finally shows herself to her troupe mates after all this time. She apologizes profusely, and Rui does too, but Tsukasa isn't having any of it.
ごめんなさい。
謝ってもどうにもならん。僕にも非がある。ネネも悪気があったわけじゃ。今日の客はどうなる。客と向き合わないで最高のショーができるわけないだろうが。反省する仲間を追い詰めて何になる。君の思いはとても程度の低いものだったみたいだね。違う。俺はこのショーを最高のショーにするために、いつかスターになるために。君はスターになんてなれない。君は簡単なことを見落としてる。最高のショーは一人じゃできない。
Emu tries to cheer Tsukasa up by telling him that she had a fun time performing in front of an audience, but Tsukasa digs himself further into a hole by shoving Emu away and storming off. Rui apologizes to Nene and tells her that he will never force her to perform again, leaving Robo Nene to lay abandoned at the Wonder Stage. Tsukasa can't really cope with all of the emotions he's having at the moment, so when his phone flashes and shows him untitled again, he listens and heads over to the Sekai to find Kaito. He finds the bunny plush instead, sobbing in a corner. This is how he decides to deal with it.
ああ、泣きやめ泣きやめ。そうだ。見るがいい。俺の華麗なダンスを。
Yeah. It's okay though. Tsukasa does manage to salvage the situation by taking the bunny around on a pretend adventure. After that, he notices the name written on the bunny's foot. Saki. That's right. Saki had a bunny plush that Tsukasa used in his shows when they were kids. That's the reason he wanted to become a star in the first place. To cheer up his sister and to put smiles on people's faces. Miku and Kaito applaud the show and Tsukasa's epiphany. His troupe mates might be the real stars, but Tsukasa is one of them. He just lost sight of his goal for a moment, that's all. Newly invigorated, Tsukasa goes to look for his friends the following day. He's only able to find Emu, standing alone by the giant Ferris wheel. She asks him to join her. From up high, they can see the Wonder Stage in all of its glory. It really is in a nice location, and that's why Emu's grandfather built it there. Otori. Wait, that's the name of the CEO of the Phoenix Group, aka the people who built and manage Phoenix Wonderland. Okay, so Emu's just the daughter of a super rich family, no big deal. So why was she working at a place like the Wonder Stage anyway? Well, Emu's grandfather passed away a year ago. Her father wanted to demolish the thing and build a new one, but Emu knew her grandfather loved the performances there so much that she asked her dad to leave it alone. He gave her until spring break to make it turn a profit, otherwise it would have to go.
私がショーをやりたいってわがまま言ったせいでステージとは今日でバイバイ。
なんでだよ。
みんなの笑顔なくなっちゃったから。
If Emu's goal was to make everyone smile, and her sacrificing the Wonder Stage is her way of making everyone happy, does she herself not count? Emu is practically in tears. Wouldn't her grandfather want her to be happy as well? Tsukasa will not stand for this. He asks Emu to try again, and she agrees. Now all that's left is to find Rui and Nene and convince them to come back too. Luckily for them, Nene snuck back into the Wonder Stage to rescue Nene Robo. When Emu and Tsukasa find her, she leads them on a wild goose chase throughout the park, finally stopping when Emu basically tackles her at the front gate. Tsukasa knows Nene probably doesn't want to talk to him after everything he said the previous day, but he does ask her to hear him out. He's tremendously sorry. He didn't think about anyone else's feelings before he lashed out, and, well, you know the sort of apology that's needed here. Tsukasa asks Nene to join them once again, and Nene agrees. She misses acting, and she misses singing. This little stint reminded her of how much she loved performing. 2 down, 1 to go. Rui might prove to be the most difficult to convince. Thankfully, Rui and Nene have been neighbors since elementary school, so Nene knows exactly where to find him. But they don't even need to go that far, because Rui is putting on a solo show on a nearby street. He tells an allegorical story about an alchemist, detailing his own life and history with performing through the plotline. Only Nene truly picks up on what is being said. Tsukasa tries to apologize, but Rui doesn't accept it. Even if Nene agreed to try again, and he's happy that she isn't giving up, he and Tsukasa just aren't compatible. No matter how sorry Tsukasa is, no matter how many times he apologizes, their goals do not align. Rui walks away once again. Well, it's not like Tsukasa wants to let Rui walk away like that, but what else can he say? If even Nene can't convince him, what hope do he or Emu have? Nevertheless, they can't give up. Nene knows Rui will continue to produce shows, so he must not want to give up performing. In that case, Tsukasa needs to put his star powers to good use and think of a way to convince Rui to come back. Time passes. Rui thinks about the comments of his classmates from years prior, how they ridiculed him and his unorthodox ideas. Alone, beneath an underpass on Kamiyama Street, Rui is ambushed by Emu, Nene, and Tsukasa. With Rui trapped, Tsukasa brings them all into the Sekai, where Rui is shoved into an audience seat and the performance begins before he can even say a word. The story is another allegorical one of the events that transpired on the Wonder Stage a few days ago. Only now, Tsukasa is able to articulate the feelings he discovered after he lost his composure. The hero apologizes to the alchemist. Now, what do we think the alchemist said? Kaito is just the stand-in. The ending of the show depends on the real alchemist, Rui.
見てほしいものがある。言っただろう。僕はもう君とショーをする気は。
ルイ君捕まえた。やっちゃえ、司君。
俺の夢はスターになることだ。でもそれはみんなに笑顔をあげるスターだ。信じてほしい。今度こそみんなをショーで笑顔にする。だからもう一度俺と一緒にショーをやってくれないか。
A passionate monologue isn't enough to convince the audience. So, why don't they work on ways to improve this speech together? Welcome back to the cast, Rui. Now that they've successfully convinced Rui to rejoin, the true feelings of the group finally manifest into their very own song. The untitled song transforms into the unit commission song for Wonderland Showtime, The World Hasn't Even Started Yet. The four of them, plus Miku, all sing the song together, like they had always known it all along. Everyone might be back now, but that still doesn't solve the issue of the Wonder Stage being demolished. They only have until the end of the school break to draw in crowds large enough to turn a profit, so Wondershow gets right to work planning and performing shows every day. On the last day of the break, they even performed 5 shows in one day, but the seats were so full that they even had several dozen people standing at the back. Everyone in Wondershow is dead tired at this point, but with Emu being summoned by her father, uncertainty still weighs on them. Emu returns, and all she can manage is an exhausted but triumphant Wonderhoy. Yes, they managed to pull enough crowds to rescue the Wonder Stage. Tsukasa was only here in the beginning because of a one-off promise he made, but now, performing with these 3 made him realize the sort of thing he was missing from his life. Wonderland Showtime will continue making the most amazing performances on the stage that they saved together. But this story is only just beginning. The curtain rises on a new and exciting show each and every day here at the Wonder Stage. Shall we get in one more celebratory Wonderhoy just in case? Okay, say it with me again. One, Wonderhoy! You're going to be hearing a lot of that in the near future. But that brings us to the end of the main story for Wondershow. I have to be a little bit picky with what I choose to include in these summaries in order to make sure that they're actually summaries, rather than just me directly quoting each line from the event. So there's a lot of little details that I left out here. I mean, it's a little more comprehensive than the Journey to Bloom animation, which I included some clips from, but it's hard to truly encapsulate the energy of these 4 unless I play direct voice lines from the game. I'm sure that will be happening in the focus events later on. What I'm trying to get at is if you enjoyed this summary and want to hear more, I always recommend reading the events for yourself. This one is definitely long, and to be honest, I hadn't finished fully reading it until I sat down to make this video, but super worth it for all of my Wondershow fans in the chat. I'm excited to bring these eclectic performers and their silly stories to you all, so I hope you look forward to the focus events. We begin with Rui's first focus. It's on Wonder Halloween. I'll see you then.